Hello. Today I'm going to be creating a library system. But before I create the actual library system, I want to demonstrate first how to form a widget, which is basically the form widget where you place all of your information to sign in or log in or create account. So let me get started first with a form. I created this. After I create the index page, I'm going to create each class, parent class for these PHP pages and show them. So let's get started. First I'm calling out the form function equals new form to create a new form. Now calling the form function, I want to add elements. Now each element will show a certain amount for the customer or the user where he can enter his details. New, and I'm going to be focusing on creating abstract and object-oriented classic later on. So let's continue. New text input, the input of his first name, comma. Let me copy this because I want to do multiple with the same. Paste it here, paste it here, paste it here. Okay, now I created the first name. The second one is going to be email. Third, let's go with password, of course. Oh, I misspelled first. And finally, it's going to be an button. So here instead, I'm going to edit all of the above now. New button, which is called submit button. After typing all the information, submit button. The first two is text input, so the text can be shown, but for the password it's gonna be in dots, so it doesn't show. Now that's all for the. Okay. Now I want to create an HTML. Let's set the language. Head. Now the title. The title is going to be, let's say for example, form widget. That's all for the head. Now body. Here I'm going to use an PHP to render all of the outcomes of the page. Echo to print, of course. For the display. And render. So that's all for the HTML page. Now I'm going to be creating we need to add an element method, but first I want to create a new class and call it for. Did I do something wrong? Okay, now I want to start with the for. As usual, we have the PHP. I wanted to extend the HTML element, which I'm going to be writing later. Okay, public string action and method. Also, I need a private array for the elements because it's very important. I need elements and I wanted an array. Yes. So now I want to start creating public function and instruct the methods and actions of the buttons and everything. Function public function here string because it's a string of course action and we can leave it blank, it's optional. String same goes for method equals get and of course I want to call this, so I'll be typing this action action. Same goes for the method. This method oh sorry I misspelled method here. This method now for the add element public I want to use this public function for the add element function add element, which is very important because we need elements. I'm going to be referring to element as el, same like we did 30 seconds ago. This not action element equals el, and to display the results of course we need the render public function render and it classifies as string. Yeah, for the public function inputs import I use this array map to render all of the stuff for the elements and recalling these elements. Now I took this printf to recall all of the strings and perform this operation for the form, of course, for action and method. Now I'm going to be creating another class, which is the HTML element, of course, because most of these stuffs are referring to this HTML element. So go to new PHP class HTML element. Okay, so I want to start by the HTML element. For this to work, I need to use an abstract class. So abstract class, and here I'm going to be using another abstract public function to render the string. Render string here, and that's about it. Only this is good enough to fill all of this they're referring to. Now that I created the HTML element, now I'm going to create the base input. So again, I want to create a new PHP class and call this class base input, where we can input all of the information in labels. Let's get started here. Base input. So class base input. Of course, this class must firstly, as usual, I'm using the PHP. Now this class needs first to be an abstract, and not only that, it's extends HTML element. Yes. Now I'm going to be creating public first. Public string. I'm going to be creating 3 strings, another public string, and another one public string, and I should name these. Okay. Now the first one is label. Label. The second is the name and the value, which displays what's the user entered. Value. Of course not to forget this. Now again, to construct public function construct all of the above that I wrote. String name, comma, string label, because I want to construct them. It's optional, no need to fill anything here. And the final one is string value. And let's call of this method to display them here. Again, this name is equal to name. Let me just copy this, print it 3 times, and change every one of these. This is label. The final one is value. Okay. Sorry, here. This is value and label. Again, I'm going to be using the public function for render to render all of this stuff. Function render. This is very important. Without this, most of the work. Okay, so string, of course, and here I want to return the values using this printf to show all of the strings. Printf, yes. Now that I wrote this, return printf format. This is the format label. Percent to print the labels. Here I can add the text, this label, render input. Okay, to show us the input and print it. Abstract public render input. Yes, it's string type. Okay, now I'm going to be creating yet another Java class, and the class name is going to be button. Yes, button. But actually before that, I'm going to be creating the password. Let's start. Now I'm going to be, sorry, here, new PHP class. Let's first start with a text input. Now text input is not very complicated. All I need is the class I did. Now I need to extend it, this text, of course, to, what's this class? Yes, this one. Base, base input class, and use the method I just wrote, public, the function I just wrote, function render input. Yes, this one. No need for this stuff. Let me do the input method using again printf, which is very important. Printf input type. The input type is text. The input type text. Name equals s. Same goes for the value equals, sorry, I missed the percent, comma, this. I'm calling out the value. And that's all for the text input. Now creating another class, and this class is going to be, sorry, I forgot here to add this. This class is going to be new the class is going to be passport input. So let me start with that. So the passport input is not very complicated as well. They all depends on the paste input.php class. Again, same as the text input for the password. Extends base input. Yes. Again, public function render input. Everything is the same as the previous PHP class, the recently one we did. Printf. Yeah, after adding this, finally, the last class I want to create is the button.php. So, new button. This is for the button feature to submit. Yeah, okay. Now, the button.php. So, start this, of course, it's part of the elements. So, class extends HTML elements. The class HTML elements. Of course, the public string is going to be text because we're writing text after all. So, text and I want to construct constructs sorry, string. Yeah, so after writing all of this stuff, like I said, public string text because we're writing text, I use the public function construct to type in construct the string text, which we did here, public string, and show in at the as we use in arrays, and to return this text equals text which we are writing, and of course I have to use a public function render to display all of the stuff, return the value using this printf, and button here we left this empty for the stuff the user writes this, and return the text. And yeah, that's about it. This is the demonstration of how to do the form widget, which the user can sign in before he can enters the library system, which I'm going to be creating later on. Let's get started with the actual library system. First, I want to create an index page to start with the library system. So PHP file, I'm going to be naming it index. Okay. Now for the actual code. Of course, this is PHP. And now I'm going to be focusing on creating and using object-oriented programming and PHP object-oriented programming classes and abstracts. Now I still didn't make any of these library PHP or book PHP. I'm going to be creating them as I'm typing the code. I'm going to be using this too. Request method. Now library equals new library to enter a new library. Now for the author name, I'm going to be adding authors related to books. Some authors and some books. So let's start with the first author. Calling the method library. Add author to add a new author, of course. And the author name is William Shakespeare, a very famous author. He wrote a lot of books. Now I want to add books related to the author. I just typed now author add book. With the first book I'm going to be adding is King Lear, one of William Shakespeare's book, comma 60. I will explain shortly what is this 60. I want to add another book, so let me just copy this. Basically these are the prices for the books. Oh, I forgot another book to change the name of the second book. These are the prices. 60 and 55 in dollars, Turkey liras, whatever. Now I'm going to be adding a new method called first let me start with library again, and the new method is add book for author, which basically I'm typing in an author then adding a book in the same code. Like for example, let's say this author, comma new book to add the book. Now for adding the book, it's called endless night, and the price for this box, let's say 50. Now I finished the first author, which is William Shakespeare. Now I'm going to be adding another. I'm going to be adding another author. So I'm gonna call the other author. Let's go with author 2 equals calling add author. Another author, sorry, Daniela, sorry, the Daniel Steele. Now I want to add book for her as well. So again, author 2 equals, no, sorry, not equal, add book, the book is called The Perfect Life, which costs $35, whatever. Another book I want to add, I'm going to be going with accident, and the price for this book is 45, let's say. Now I've added the two authors. Now I'm going to be calling this book method, which equals library, again calling out library, search King Lear, the name of the book, close it. Basically what this means, it's going to be this must return the instant of the book. Now the author, which is the first author, equals the method I'm calling book get author with the method get author, which basically equal when I write this, it will return the instant of the author class, and printing it using echo author get name, requesting the name of the author using this method. Which basically means this, I'm printing the author name. So when I type this echo, it must print the author name, which is related to this book, which is William Shakespeare. Now it's telling me I'm not defined, but I'm going to be defined right now. Okay, and now I'm going to be creating a PHP class, and the name of this class will be book. PHP, okay, book. Now I want to start with this book class. So first I'm going to be declare some variables public. This is now object oriented. I'm focusing on object oriented classes using PHP. The first string is called title, of course, the title of the book. Public float, which is basically the number. Public float is equals price now. The author, of course, these three attributes are important, the information of the book, and so on. Now I'm going to begin constructing public function constructs the string again. These three attributes, which are very important for the book information. Float, price, and finally now, of course, this to call out the methods I want. First one, title, sorry, I made a mistake here. This title again. Now price, this price equals price this author equals author, and I forgot this at the end. Okay, everything is looking good. Now to call out the method, public function get title to request the title in the index page. Title, type of this variable string, return the value, which is this. Another method is to set the title, public function set title, which is again a string title. Now final two, I want to create a public function for the price function, get price, public function get price, it's a float, this price is equal to calling out the method price. Finally, same as the set get title and set title for the author, public function get author. return this author. Final one is public function set author. This author is equal to and at the moment I don't know why there are some issues. I'll be looking at them, but for now let's go ahead. Now I want another PHP class called author. Yeah, so this class is called author. This is for specifying the author. Okay, public string first, and most importantly the name of the author. Sorry, string name public box. Second one is the box related to the author, and I forget to just made this. Now public function, I'm going to be constructing construct same as we did with the book PHP. String name array for the books to show the list of books in array. Books of course. Okay, calling the method using this name, and here as well this one is equal to name, and the box is equals to calling out the method box. Okay, and did I miss something? No, for the main functions regarding the author, public function, the function is called add book, which includes the string title, the title of the book, obviously, string float. The float is the price of the book. Okay, equals new book. When we add a new book to the collection, I need, like I mentioned, the title, price, finally calling this, and the amount of books, this displayed in arrays. And of course return the book. The last two function get the to get the name, get name, string, return public. Finally, this is for the set name, string which equals to name, and yeah, that's about it for the author. Now there is two more classes I want to write the actual library, but before I do that, I wanna create an abstract class called abstract library. New PHP class abstract library, and let me make sure I type that right, and yes I did. Now I'm going to be using the protected method for the authors, of course. Public function, I'm going to be calling add author instance to add an instance. Here let's to give us the value using this method to request, and I want authors, not one, authors. Now essentially I wrote this using the public function find author, the author name. For each I used calling this to authors as the author. When I call one or more authors, if author get name, I'm using the get name function to display the author name, which equal to the author name, the actual author name, and return author to display the result after getting the name. And if there is no author for the book or something, or the author is missing, is not in the system, it will return null. Now after typing this, I'm going to be continuing with the code with more public functions. Public function to get authors and display them as arrays. Array. Return to return, of course, they needed this. And now I'm going to be creating a series of abstract public functions for all the requirements we need, starting with this one. Which abstract public function. All of these should be public function. Add author. The first one is for adding author, which basically wants the string author name. Into the next one, abstract public function. Here again, I'm using here only abstract public functions. The method we saw previously, which is add book for author, which requests the author. Now for getting the book, get books. The author name, can abstract public. It's a search function for the library system, which of course the input is with strings and the book name. Finally, abstract function. Finally, this one is for printing all of the previous ones I wrote to give the results, show them. And yeah, that's about it for the abstract library. Now there's more. There's another class, which is the last one, the library, which extends this class, the abstract library PHP. And I'm going to be starting with it now, the last one. And again, public, sorry, it's only called library, the final class for the library, this library system, the project. But first I want to make a require no abstract library PHP and the author, which the PHP we wrote recently, and these, and yeah, not to forget the extends, the abstract library which we wrote. Okay, starting public function add author. No need for this. This is the function I wanted to make. Yeah, after writing all of this stuff, not to waste any more time and write it all over the game, let me go quickly over what I did. obviously I said before, this is extended abstract library. We use a public function. Each of them has a job: add author, add book for author, author name, which need these methods to return them. Calling these methods author name, the book, author name if the author give us the value of the name, add book, and get the title of this book and get the price as mentioned in the PHP here. Now here, public function get book for author. Also this find author. First I'm going to be calling this to find the name of the author. If the author name is giving, get the book. Author get books, which gives me the book for the author and return the value. It gives me the book related to this author, the books he made. Now for the public function, the search function in the site. It calls the it needs to type in the book name. For each, this get author as author, author get books as book, book get title, basically getting the title of the books, getting the books for the that are related to the author as books, getting the author which is the owner, have the ownership of the book, and finally after all this, when we type in the book using this search, it returns the book, and obviously if the book is not available it will return null until there is no book available in the library system. And these finally the public function which prints all of this stuff for each. As you can see, it prints all of the obviously none of this stuff will work if we don't type this in the end, which prints the price, the book, the author name, the title, and so on, all of the necessary stuff. And yeah, that was about it. These are the one index file, and the rest of these are abstract and public object oriented classes. And yeah, that was my project. That's about it.